and they're using this endlessly. Where does the parent step in and say, enough is enough?
Amazing Pop Culture Podcast.
Is social media changed forever? We got big news, big lawsuits. What do we know so far?
A jury found the companies harmed a young user with design features that were addictive and led to her mental health distress. Just one more. The social media company Meta harmed a young user with design features that were addictive and led to her mental. A jury found on Wednesday a landmark decision that could open social media companies to more lawsuits over users' well-being. That kind of reminds me, if you go back about 10 years or so, to the big cigarette lawsuit. That the cigarette companies didn't put the disclaimer out there that smoking cigarettes can cause cancer. And in the state of Minnesota, tobacco company had to pay like $500 million to the state of Minnesota. And I always wonder, where does that money go? Well, it's going to go on. They're going to teach the people how to smoke responsibly. That's what they always say. They're going to use it for education purposes.
How did addiction factor into?
In terms of the cigarettes?
Yeah, you said it causes cancer, but it's also addictive.
Well, I mean, that's the same thing that they're saying with Meta, Facebook. Is it the source itself, or is it within the person? If it wasn't Meta, would they find something else? Because it's within their personality. They just have addictive personalities. I find it very difficult to sue a private industry for something that I have a free choice and I decide to overuse. I mean, you could go around suing every company. I mean, just an example, jelly beans. I love jelly beans. Let's say I ate so many jelly beans that it caused diabetes. I got overweight. I got lazy. I was fired from my job. Is that the lengths that we can go to?
Is that what happened to you?
Oh,
that explains a lot.
I love jelly beans. I don't care. Insecurities can make fun of me all you want, but that's my point, Dags, is where does this lawsuit? I think I'm not a big fan of Zuckerberg and all the big companies, but if their diabolical plan is to get people to be addicted to use their platform, that's every company's mission in life, is to draw people in and keep them there. So when you take a look at this young female who is drawn into this addictive platform of TikTok is big, and they're using this endlessly, where does the parent step in and say, enough is enough? Do the courts have to be the parents for the upcoming generation? Because a parent could simply say, hey, put your phone down. You're done. So are the court system now the new parent? Where is the parent's role when it comes to addictive behavior for anything? I don't like the fact that, and this thing will get dragged out forever. I think it was a $350 million lawsuit. It was a class action lawsuit.
Which seems like a small amount as far as lawsuits go. Because usually they go for the moon and then it gets whittled down. I'm surprised it's not $5 billion.
Well, I mean, they have to prove that people were affected.
But what I'm saying is usually they throw a large amount at both sides settle.
I think 350 to 400 million. I think that's a huge amount.
Well, it is, but I'm just saying.
How do you prove mental health to this day? I think there's questions about diagnosis, medication. How does it start? How does it doesn't start? And now you're directly pointing the finger at the origination of a mental health of mental health issues to Facebook, TikTok. How about the phone in general? Should we go after iPhone? Should we go after Android? Because they're the carriers of this. So shouldn't they be involved? I'm taking this to the next level. Could we as podcasters be responsible because people love this podcast so much, they can't get enough of it, that they're addicted to it? Could we face lawsuits?
Yes.
Maybe there's a couple right now. I just think it's out of control. I am not defending Facebook for their attempts. I'm guilty of myself, probably on the platform way too much, but that's by my personal choice. and I don't really.
Let's go 18 and under though, not an adult.
Okay,
You're 13.
Parents. Parents got to step in. Number one, what's the appropriate age to give somebody a smartphone? I have 2 children, and in retrospect, I wish I would have waited till they were 18. One thing I do think that the smartphone does, but it's not the smartphone, it's the dynamics of social media. And they claim SpongeBob did this because of its bright animated colors and its quickness of speed of the pictures that they flapped at these kids. They said it's actually rewiring brains. I don't know if I can say that about SpongeBob, but this is factual. They actually said SpongeBob SquarePants.
But they do say a brain is a sponge, especially when you're a child.
Okay.
So do you think that's true or not?
No, I do. I don't know about SpongeBob. I do know that my wife did prevent our kids from watching SpongeBob. I love SpongeBob though.
Why do you love SpongeBob?
It's just so creative. 20 minutes later, and that's carried over to mini
What did you
comedies.
think of the innuendos? Did that bother you at all?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I love that stuff. When you can capture a parent and a kid at the same time, that's creativity at its best. But so SquarePants or SpongeBob. By the way, the Mall of America here in wonderful Minnesota has the plunge on it. A wonderful little ride based off the characters of SpongeBob. But
How
I
often do you
digress.
ride it?
I love it.
Yeah.
How often have I?
Yeah.
I would say once a year.
Mm.
I'm gonna change topics. Are you a fan of rides? We can get back to what we're talking about. Do you like rides?
Unbelievable.
What are you a fan of rides?
So the phone has affected your ADHD.
Are you a fan of rides?
I am not a fan of rides.
Roller coasters, we can
No.
do them. Okay. There is one I love.
Gravity kills.
I love rides.
Yes.
I love roller coasters.
Yes.
That stuff doesn't bother me. I don't get scared. There is one Philip's laughing. What's up, Philip? So there is one ride at the Mall of America that literally scared the shit out of me. It was the Avatar ride out there.
Okay.
Scared the living daylights out of me, which is
Why?
very unusual. It was when you were up there, I didn't realize, and I was hoping it was a quiet day at the Mall of America. And sometimes people that run the rides think they're doing you a favor, so they keep you on longer. And it's like, no, get me off this thing. It was just the height we were going. It was the way it twisted and the way it turned. Anyway, big fan of rides. I'm gonna go back now.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Okay, so
Wow,
but we're
that's
talking,
impressive.
but we have to talk about the parents' role in kids' lives when they're 13. Maybe you don't get them a smartphone because Bobby does next door has the smartphone. Maybe like a pack of cigarettes. Do we have to go to the great lengths, Dags, where you can't serve you unless you're 21 or older? We can't give you a smartphone unless you're 21 or older. Do we have to go to those lengths?
What are your thoughts though on the homeschooled kid? Have you ever met any homeschooled
Oh,
kids?
ton of them. Yeah.
And they're a mess.
No, they're not. What do you mean by they're a mess? Give me a definition of that.
So you can spot a homeschooled kid a mile away. They're naive. And then I feel, in fact, that they feel like they were their whole life, they grew up with nothing, so they hit it hard when they turn 18.
You just described the Amish community. No,
Springer.
I disagree. I think that,
So have you met homeschooled kids?
yes,
You don't think they're a little goofy, they're a little naive,
brilliant young people.
susceptible
No,
to influence?
no, I disagree with you. I think homeschooled kids are nurtured way better than public school kids. They are better connected. They are more well-grounded. I think they're more intelligent. When you say they're a little naive, they might be naive to the worldly fashions and trends, but that doesn't matter.
We're talking street smarts.
But who cares? When they're
Because it's hey baby, it's a wild world out there.
well, when they're the engineers and you're working for them and they're homeschoolers, I disagree. I think
Engineering.
well, because they're brilliant.
Well, they're not engineered homeschool. They're not learning
They go,
engineering at school.
they go on.
I mean, at home.
You understand? They're not homeschooled till they're masters.
Yes.
They do eventually leave
Yes.
mom and dad and graduate and go off to high school or college. And I would guess, I don't know this for sure, but I bet you if you rated the intelligence factor and the knowledge that is gained between a public school kid and a homeschool kid, I bet you the homeschool kid is way off the charts. So,
Well, what is intelligence? I mean, is it your whole world experience or is it just book
Well, I
knowledge.
mean, you have to have a combination of both. I mean, you can't just get by on book smarts, but you have to have, and these kids who are homeschooled, they can still participate in the
Well, that's
activities.
the thing too. You wonder the homeschooled and mom has got them on this strict thing, and then they go to an extracurricular activity like hockey,
Mhm.
and then they hear everything.
You know, I kind of have a tragic story about that. I was once kicked out of school when I was younger. And the problem was that I was homeschooled. I love that joke.
No,
Maybe you'll laugh
I
at
don't know why I have to edit so much. Well,
Don't you dare
I
edit
put the
that one.
stupid. If you had to watch the last one, I put the stupid
Yeah,
thing
I
underneath
know.
it.
My mom kicks me out,
Yeah, yeah,
so anyway,
yeah. Your brain is.
no, it's just I think that homeschooling has its place. I
Were
mean,
you homeschooled?
no, I was
I
not
wish you
homeschooled.
would have.
No, not at all.
Okay,
I
because then maybe
enjoyed.
you might have been turned out better.
Well, I think that I'm a quality individual. It's
Really?
it's I it's what it, what the homeschooling does is give you a focus and a concentration that you'll never see in the public schools, you know. Um so
So, who's a successful person you know, like famous, that's been homeschooled, other
I
than Abraham Lincoln?
yes. I guess we could do a query search,
Mm,
Google.
oh,
I can't necessarily give you a specific, but I'm sure that if we did that search, maybe our producer could do that quick search for us and find out. I'm sure there's somebody. I mean, the numbers, come on. I mean, it's such a small amount of people that are homeschooled versus,
so you think no people should be homeschooled?
I think it's a personal choice. Just like it has to be a decision based on the family, just like giving your child a smartphone. What's the appropriate age to give your child a smartphone
What
is
is?
what
What
we
do you
don't
think?
know.
What do you think?
I've
If you had,
asked you that. You
if you had to
answer.
redo it,
No, I'm asking you.
I think that kids, toddlers should do the blocks, the puzzles, the Legos, and then you transition enough, you have enough base knowledge. But as far as social media, no, that's a whole different thing. When you're saying smartphone, do you mean full access to the internet,
Yeah.
social media?
Yeah.
Well, that's got to be layered in, I think.
At what age though? You're not giving me an age
But
because,
just let me finish.
okay, I'm sorry.
So I said you start out, you do preschool Legos, blocks, math, numbers, and then you kind of slowly transition. I would say into your teen years.
Okay.
Because you're going to be a weirdo if you don't know any of that. And you're going to go to a school. Eventually, you're going to get out of your house bubble and you're going to be prey.
I disagree with that mindset altogether. I think that you have to have a strong family life, and you take that with you. You
What
go.
if people don't have a family, though? Stuff happens.
Well, I mean,
What if
there's
you're a single mom? You're working two
okay.
jobs?
What if aliens take us over and we're all captured? I mean,
What are you talking about?
well, these scenarios.
That's a strange scenario.
What? Well, no,
You
but
don't know any single parents?
I know single parents.
So that's what I'm saying. What should they do? Should they?
I think I think the mind is no different whether you have a mom, dad, or if you have a mom, if you have a dad. The mind of a youthful person is like a canvas that has to be carefully nurtured, regardless of the demographic or their life or their lifestyle or what their home life is like. So
So social media, 18? When are you saying you can start social media?
again, that's really hard to put a. I mean, how do they determine when we can drink? 21. How do they determine when we can vote? 18. What guidelines
Do you
for
think those ages are, they just picked a number? I mean, do you think it's on a scale?
No, I think there is some background and reasoning for those numbers. Um, and I guess you have to look at that same thing for social media. Maybe if we, instead of suing Meta, parents actually stepped into the lives of their children and said, or maybe even allowed them only certain times of the day. When you go work out at a gym, you do it for about 45 minutes. Your body can only handle so much, and then you go home.
Have you ever worked out?
Yeah, wow.
just, just for the viewers.
uh, yes, I have. Um, I used to be a boxer.
Really?
I boxed apples at Cub Foods.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, Diggs, these personal attacks, will get you nowhere.
Yeah.
So, um, so anyway, the meta thing to me is just, I don't agree with that
So
whatsoever.
you were not raised on a smartphone. I wasn't either.
No.
How do
Yeah.
you think you would have changed if you would have been on a smartphone? You think you would have been better or worse person?
It's a great question because back in our day, you know what the smartphone was? The encyclopedia. Remember the encyclopedia? If you were to say that to somebody probably under the age of 25, they're like, what the heck's an encyclopedia? But there was kind of to be able to touch and feel the pages and read and be immersed in an encyclopedia, that is something that is a treasure that is lost that we'll never get back again.
You're a big reader.
I'm a big reader.
What was your favorite book you ever read?
I loved Brent Bear wrote a couple books
What's
about
that?
Brett Bear from Fox News. He wrote a couple of
Oh,
books.
wow. Those are,
Yeah,
he's gotta be
He wrote them
pretty
about.
amazing novels. Huh?
Yeah, they were pretty good.
Yeah,
One is about Abraham Lincoln.
right after was Steinbeck, I bet.
And other than a comic book, have you ever read anything before?
How dare you, sir?
Other than a comic book?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or you have.
Yes.
What have you read? And do we even read, let's be honest, do you even read a comic book? You're just like, yeah.
I do the speed reading with my finger.
Yeah. Definitely, I think as you get older and you get the quick hits of social media, your attention span wanes and it is harder to read. The first thing I look at when I open up a book is the size of the print. If it's really small, it's like, no, I'm not gonna touch that one. If it's bigger, bolder. But no, I read a story about 3 Days on the Brink. It was a great story about Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin. We could talk about that at some time. The great war general, the Civil War general. Um, see in my mind,
Mhm.
not Robert E. Lee, but Ulysses S. Grant. That was great. Great. I love that stuff. I love history. I love immersing myself in it. And I'd rather do that with a book than on my tiny phone try to read something. So there's something to be said about a book. And bookstores do fairly good. There is a small niche of people that still enjoy the book, you know.
So back to social media and parenting. Do you think maybe both sides could be wrong?
No, I don't want to blame.
So you don't think social media is engineering through algorithms making software addictive?
100%. That's their goal in life. So is McDonald's. So is Arby's. So
So
is the
that's
Jelly
fine.
Bean
So that's
Company.
fine. That's no problem.
Well, I'm not saying that, but the problem is I am not. I mean, there's also people on the streets probably hustling kids to take that evil is out there. Defend against it and be prepared. Circle back to a strong family, and you can take care of that stuff. I just don't want to. I don't want to.
So you think homeschooling protects you
Yeah.
from the streets?
Yeah, I mean, not in every instance. I mean, I'm not unrealistic. A kid that's homeschooled, could he have issues, anxiety and social anxiety? Yeah, of course. I mean, that's just the way this world is. But I would say a smaller percentage of homeschooled kids suffer from those social anxiety, depression. Because what's happening is the young girl is getting on the social media and she's seeing her friends at a party, and now she becomes depressed because she wasn't asked and she thought she was originally part of that group and she's not. And she's seeing the party unfold in front of her and she's home on her bed on her social media. And so whose fault is that? Is that Meta? Is that iPhone? Is it the electrical company that lets you plug and charge your phone in? Where does it end, Dags? Where does that end?
So it's unstoppable. So you shouldn't do anything about it.
I'm
is what
not
you're
saying I'm not saying it's unstoppable, but cigarettes, as I brought up earlier, they were sued $500 million. Minnesota won the lawsuit. What did that do? Nobody knows where the 500 million is, and people are smoking to this day. It's just personal choices have consequences if they're wrong, and people have to understand you're responsible for what you do, and I'm responsible
So
for
you're
mine.
libertarian. Just everything goes and
I'm not saying everything goes. That's
Okay.
not what I'm saying.
okay.
everything goes means accept everything and do what you want. No, I'm saying let's get back to personal responsibility and not blame the other guy for everything. You know, um, like all your insecurities that you've had your entire life, you blame me for it because I'm a
Mhm.
dashing, good-looking man,
Yes,
and
yes,
there's jealousy there.
yes.
So, I mean,
Put that put
you
the
have to take
put the filter on.
you have to
Fill it
take
up on his face
responsibility.
because he is much too handsome. Yeah, it's
So,
very distracting.
but no, I just all I ask the general public to do is just be personally responsible for your actions and don't always try to point the finger at somebody else. So,
So we're talking about neighborhoods, the street, Alan Ritchson riding his bike, his motorcycle with his kids through the neighborhood. Tell us about that.
well, it's funny because I digress. That story reminded me of when we
Unbelievable. You literally
well,
bring up a topic you can't even
well,
get into it.
listen to me. When I was
Your
young,
brain is just sewage.
when I lived in the inner city and I was a young boy, a big thing to us.
Inner city.
Well,
You know this fake story. Go ahead.
a really important thing to us was riding our mini bike. Okay. And when we put
Inner
it,
city.
when we rode the mini bike, we had a neighbor lady, Mrs. Kravitz, who would march outside. She would march outside and do exactly the same thing that happened to Alan Ritchson. So that story was very similar to my childhood. So I really took to that story. You know, um, I don't know. It's crazy. We were just talking about him. I think he's upset because his movie was so bad. He just
No.
decided to take it out on his neighbor. But um, I guess they were. I don't know. I mean, you ride up and down the street, and you got
So what are your thoughts on that? So let me say you're right now in your neighborhood and some dude and his kids ride up on loud bikes. Would you do anything? Would you care?
well, again, if it's one time, no. If it's continually for several hours, and let's face it, they don't get on those bikes to go slow. They don't get on those bikes to ride them quiet. They go loud and proud on those things. And so I don't think my technique would be now the neighbor is the one that started the physical confrontation, you know. That's why he wasn't hauled off to jail because he put a hurt down on the neighbor. But the neighbor pushed him initially.
Do you think that's why? Because I always wonder about pressing charges, how that works. I think when famous people, rich people are involved, everything gets thrown out the door.
Ask Tiger Woods that question. That's not true. But I disagree. If there is any way, shape, or form,
You honestly think the average person versus a rich person or an influential person gets treated the same by the law?
well, I'll tell you what.
You don't think people get starstruck?
With the world that we live in, your every move is being photographed. If you have video footage, which we do, of this confrontation, it would be very difficult, no matter how big of a Hollywood star you are, to get off if you assaulted your neighbor. It just wouldn't happen. There's just too much evidence against it. And I think you have sometimes the opposite effect. Police officers might have some jealousy, and so they probably try to press even harder and go after these Hollywood elites.
So it can go both ways.
I
what
think
you're
it goes
saying.
both ways. But again, every episode there seems to be a video camera everywhere. That whole thing was captured, you know? And it's a good thing it was because the neighbor came out afterwards with bruises and scars on his face, and you go, my gosh, he got the crap beat out of him. But he started it, so I think
So what does started mean to you? Like if you verbal, starting there, pushing someone, punching someone, do you think violence is violence, or if you push someone, you can pummel them with your fists? What are your
well,
thoughts?
I think in a court of law, that's probably by how good your lawyer is on either side of the realm. But I really think that when somebody's coming at you and you look at their demeanor and you look at maybe what do they have in their hand? Are their hands up? And they're coming at you fast. I wouldn't.
All bets are off.
I think all bets are off at that time because they're usually coming at you. If they're slowly walking up and saying,
Yes.
"Hey, can I talk
Yes.
to you about this?"
Yes.
I don't think they would have. Again, personal responsibility. I don't think they probably in that neighborhood should have grabbed 3 motorcycles and just rode them. And they were young kids too. You know, I think we as a country, and I'm getting some advice. I think we could be a little more respectful of each other, and that was probably an example where Alan Ritchson, even though he wasn't maybe doing anything necessarily wrong, I think sometimes you have to look at how does it affect the person around us, and there has to be some responsibility, and that goes back to the metal thing too.
Maybe de-escalate.
Yeah.
One person should de-escalate.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you think his kids were homeschooled?
They should be. They probably
Okay.
wouldn't be on motorcycles because they wouldn't have them because they wouldn't know what they are, according to you. You know, so I don't know. I don't know, and I hope they are because they'll be better kids for it. You know, what would you do if you had kids and you're witnessing your father beating the crap out of somebody? Would it be like, oh my God, how affected would that be? How is that traumatizing? Is it, yeah, my, because you remember like in the day, my dad could beat up your dad, you know?
Tiger Woods. What are
Yeah,
your
that's
thoughts?
kinda,
Tell us what happened.
well, kind of an interesting story. You guys had to set me straight. I guess I wanted to see DWI because I love
DUI, DWI, interchangeable.
number
Well, what happened?
well, number one, let me just start off by saying I absolutely adore Tiger Woods for what the guy is one of the best athletes in the world. It's kind of like when we talked last week about the action stars.
Yes.
You've got Chuck Norris, you have Rocky, and you have the third one was I said Lee Majors. When you talk about iconic sports heroes, Tiger Woods is one of mine. Mike Tyson would be also in that category, and probably Brady, the quarterback. You know, so
That's your
kind of
top three.
kind of the iconic. And if you remember back in the 80s and 90s, Tiger Woods and Mike Tyson just dominated their sports.
Yes.
I love that in an athlete. Brady dominated the sport.
You like dynasties, you like dominance, you like.
Well, I mean, I just like to see.
Let me ask you this though. I always tell you going off topic.
Mhm.
The Cowboys. Does it bother you when people win too much and then you're like, oh, the Patriots? Does it bother you? And it's like, oh, come on, all right, let's.
There's no doubt there is that.
Okay.
Yeah, just
The
like
Yankees, yeah.
because they all start out as a small little franchise that hasn't won forever.
Yes.
Everybody's rooting for them, and they win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they go back again, and you're like, oh, and then they're back again. You're like, no, I've had enough.
But then,
I want somebody else.
But then for us, I mean, the hurt of the Vikings trade, Herschel Walker, hashtag too soon.
I know. No, it's not too soon. But when you look at the Dallas Cowboys when they won the Super Bowl that year, we, the Minnesota Vikings, should get part of that trophy.
Yes.
We helped them big time for them to win.
And then
the Super
Herschel
Bowl.
Walker's shoes flew off.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. It was
No,
so.
no,
Well, he like runs.
The
Like,
dude-
oh, this is the best thing ever.
The dude was just point and shoot though, man. He just had to, like, what a washout that was. Oh my God. Has
Yeah,
that been predicted or what?
the
Herschel-
Herschel Walker?
Herschel Walker, I mean,
And the
like,
fact that we gave them like
Yeah.
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, you know. But you know what? It is what it is, and we move on.
Yes.
And we talk about Tiger Woods.
Yes, Tiger Woods. Thank you.
One of the greatest golfers. He I think Jack Nicklaus had 19 majors, and the only one to even come close to Jack Nicklaus, I guess, in terms of a golfer, you'd have to say is the greatest, only because he has the most major victories of any golfer.
What if Jack Nicholson did a movie about Jack Nicklaus?
Jack Nicholson?
Yeah.
That's funny because when you say that, I have to think.
Make him the Messies. We're making a little me.
He's probably a good golfer.
Yeah.
But Jack Nicklaus by far is probably the best golfer ever because he won the most majors if you based on that alone. No,
Okay, let me ask you this.
yeah, ask me. Go ahead. ask
In
me.
their prime, head to head, who's better?
You know, it was always that raging. You
Yes.
know, like Babe Ruth. They always said, you know, he's a home run. He got
Oh,
all those home runs. They're like, if you were to come in the majors today, I think the guy went up there half in the bag with a cigar. You know,
just half in the bag.
I don't think. I think Babe Ruth would not. You wouldn't even know who.
No,
he is
no, no.
If he came.
No,
up
but
today.
I'm talking because golf is finesse. So
Tiger Woods is just the guy.
let me ask you this: on
Yeah.
putt, so drive, drive for show, putt for dough. Who's better putter?
That's tough to say between Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods.
Yes.
You know, Again, if I go back to the amount of majors that Jack Nicklaus won, he won more than Tiger did.
No, but I'm just saying you're in the green there. What?
Well, they both were deadly. I
Yeah.
mean, on
Okay.
Sundays
Okay.
the scariest thing for golfers, they said, was when they were in the final cut of a tournament and Tiger Woods was down by a couple of strokes. They knew that Tiger Woods was going to strike, and,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
would drop these putts from all across. And he's just, I mean, what does my insight tell me? I think Tiger Woods probably is better athlete
Okay. Oh,
overall
okay. Yeah.
than Jack Nicklaus. But how do you gauge that right now? Because Jack Nicklaus
No, I know. It's just
with foul, I
it's
mean,
just a fantasy
yeah,
thing.
it's just a fantasy. I would probably have to say Tiger Woods, probably. Um, and Tiger Woods, as we know, with the meds he takes, his body took a beating because of how powerful he was.
So yeah, let me ask you this: do you think so? The older dudes, did they sustain those injuries, or they just didn't generate as much power? Did they play as long, or why does it seem newer athletes are injured more in all sports?
You know, I don't know this for sure, but I'm gonna say the golf swing is always changing and evolving. And right
Okay.
now, when you come back, you have to come back, shallow your club, drop your hip, actually lower yourself and twist. And when you practice that, it's really hard on when you're young, not so much.
Well, yes, 100%.
But Tiger Woods, man, when he would step up to tee the ball off, that dude wanted to knock the cover off and would. And he threw 120% in his swing and his back and his body. And he was so powerful and his body just couldn't handle that after time. And and look what it led to. He's on the pain meds. Um, and it's all because of, and the guy, I mean, look at his stature too. I mean, the guy was put together like a brick shit
Yeah.
house.
Does it wreck everything? Wrecks your hips, your knees, your spine.
There's no doubt,
Yeah.
you know, and Tiger Woods was kind of the new golfer where back in the old days, they kind of had the beer belly. They were kind of more boxy shaped. Now you look at a golfer and they've got the wide shoulders, the narrow hip or the narrow waist I mean, these guys are big. They're training as hard as just about any athlete can, but they have to.
Do you think they overtrain or not? Do you think a 70s swing, if Tiger Woods did a 70s swing back in, would he still be as good? What I'm trying to say is, do you think they make everything such sports science that, you're talking about the new drop your hips and everything. Do they really need to keep refining everything?
You know, that's a whole topic in itself because I'm going to tell you, I watch a shit ton of golf videos. Okay.
I know you do.
The how to,
Yes.
and it's just like I'm addicted to it. Okay. I should sue somebody because I'm
Yes.
watching.
Yeah.
I'm depressed. So maybe I can get a little bit of money for this. But
Yeah.
anyway, when I watch golf videos, you will hear 1,000 different ways on how you can improve your game and wait around for rule number 3. You'll really learn something
Well, yeah.
here. But there is a guy by the name of Sagato, I think is how you say him. And he debunks all the new styles of swings and said, this is so unnecessary. What's happening? He says, just take your hands and rotate your shoulders. That's all you have to do. The guy is dead on. I have used his approach. And for my game, because when you get older, your flexibility, golf is hard to do when you get in your, like me in my 40s,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Um, and you're not as flexible and you don't want to be thinking all these swing thoughts. With his method, you don't. So I think Tiger Woods could be equally as effective with any swing he does. The guy is just so athletic, you know. But he unfortunately has a little bit of trouble right now where he was actually flipped his vehicle, and this is not the first time. Fortunately, the guy wasn't killed because if you remember, Herb Brooks fell asleep on the wheel. Now, Herb Brooks was going at a very high speed on 35E. I don't think he was in a seatbelt, and he flipped from the car and was dead. Tiger Woods had to crawl at the passenger side. I don't think they were at high speeds with that, but the guy could have been, another legend could have been killed.
He's rolled it twice, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Um, 50 years old now, and obviously paying a price for a lot of fame, a lot of fortune, a lot of money, but it came at a cost of his body. And let me ask you that, Diggs, if you could have been a has been, but your body is broken down the way it is now, but you've really not done anything,
Mhm.
would you give all the money back, or would you at a no at all costs, I'm going to become famous and have a fortune, and I don't care what it does
I
to
have
my
no
body?
idea what you're talking about.
Would you, if you could, and you knew it was going to cost you your body in terms of breaking it down in injury, chronic pain, but you didn't care because you wanted the fame and fortune of being good at something, would you still proceed if you knew the future?
No, of course not. But people are locked in,
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
and then they also a lot unfortunately surround themselves a lot of times with vampires and agents and lawyers and lady friends.
Well, I mean, there's just so much money to be made. And so and there's so much money to be made. These athletes try to find this new scientific edge, and there's companies out there that will offer them this new and latest and greatest. And
Yes,
that's really nothing new. It's
but
just a
you're
raised
right. I
package.
mean, like it's just business.
Yeah. It's just business.
Yes,
Business, you know.
and it's always these dudes. Like, who are you? They're these self-proclaimed experts. Yeah.
So what have you done?
Yes, I
I
think it's
got a
funny.
5-point plan on
Yes,
how to take you
I
from
think
a
it's funny.
20 handicap to a
Yes,
15,
yes.
you know.
But
Um,
we're always looking.
but I mean, it doesn't matter if you found a solution, just the research aspect of it, and you created a way to do something better, even though you never maybe competed at a level for any sport. But if you truly found something, it doesn't matter what your background is. If you can successfully package this new and scientific way to improve and it works, that'll speak for itself. I would say the people that speak the loudest have the less answers to the
Yes.
problems, you know. So um
How often do people cheat on their cards in golf, do you think? And
it's amazing. I think more oftentimes the better golfers actually take it to the other extreme because
yeah,
everybody wants a low handicap.
yes.
So if they shoot or they want a high handicap, I'm sorry. So if they shoot a 72, they might say 78 because they want to stay within range to be competitive in a tournament. So in golf, I think cheating happens constantly, you know, all the time, so and in sport in general, there's cheating for the average person who's just a weekend hack, you know. And does it matter in the realm of
Do
things?
you honestly care, or do you always try to win, or you just like to go out with your buddies and golf?
Depends what your definition of cheating is. If it's picking up your ball to see if it is your act, you're not supposed to do that. To me, it's like, come on, I'm a weekend hack. I don't make money at this. I'm not that good. Is it really going to make a difference? There's no money in the thing. No, to me, it's just let's have fun.
Other dudes you play with, are they competitive, or
Yeah, some are very good, very good.
we're done?
We're done.